Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders. This episode we will be rehousing my Cupiennius getazi, or rusty wandering spider. This is a true spider from Panama and Costa Rica, and unlike its cousins in the genus Thenutria, which includes the Brazilian wandering spider, these guys are not nearly as venomous. Unfortunately, years ago, my first experience with banana or wandering spiders came from a TV show called 1,000 Ways to Die. I know those of you out there that know this show are probably shaking your head because you know exactly where I'm going with this, but it basically involved a young man who had one in some produce he bought from the local grocery store. It bit him, and let's just say the story was particularly sordid, and we're not going to get into it here. But I operated under the assumption that all of the wandering spiders were lethal to humans for many, many years, and that was due to my own ignorance. But after doing some more research, and a buddy of mine, Charles, who kept them, convinced me the fact that I needed to check these guys out because they weren't nearly as dangerous as everybody made them out to be, I finally got a couple. Now this one here I picked up as a little sling. It's been growing quickly, and it's obviously time to rehouse it, as you'll see in the video. So enough of me talking, let's get into the rehousing of my C. getazi, or rusty wandering spider. All right, so we're about to rehouse my Cupiennius getazi, or rusty wandering spider. Picked these up, about 4 months ago, I think, or this one up about 4 months ago. The rusty wandering spider is a species from Costa Rica and Panama. They are very fast, potentially defensive, although I have noticed some behaviors that remind me a bit of Poecilotheria species, wherein they flatten out and try to hide first before bolting. And unlike some of the other species I have, these guys are very active hunters. They will track down and hunt their prey. So again, that's where the speed totally behooves them. So they are fast movers. Now what I have here is a dram vial. It's, I believe, about 2 inches across or so, just about 2 inches across. And what I do for some of the faster species is I have a little flap of tape that I put over the top of a hole. I'll drill a hole in here and put a flap of tape over, and it makes it easier to feed them so you don't have to open the tops of these, because I have had issues before with these types of enclosures where you open the top and the spider wants to bolt out. Also, if we see here, this one loves being directly on top of the enclosure. She spends just about all of her time there. I'm hoping that when I get her in this new enclosure here, she'll settle down, but this has made trying to open that enclosure quite a bit of fun. So what we're going to try to do here is pop off the top, have it on here loosely, set it down, let the top come off. Hopefully she'll freeze for a minute so we can get a good shot of her, because she is an absolutely gorgeous spider. And again, this is a true spider, not a tarantula. So very, very fast growing, and they get quite large. I believe up to about 4 inches or maybe even 4.5 inches. I'm trying to get a good, accurate information about how big they get, but it's kind of tough to find. So what we're going to do now is try to pop the top of this off. Now I do have paper towels in the corner of this in case she gets out. I thought about using the butterfly cage that we use for some of our rehousing, but this one's a little larger, so we should be able to keep track of her even if she does get out. Knock on wood. Famous last words. I shouldn't have said that. We just did a video in which I said the first one we did will be the easiest, and the thing popped right out and went all over the place. So well, there you go. Just please come on. If he came off there, it'd be a lot easier for me. A lot less scary for Billy. All right. Cap is off. Whoop. There we go. So hopefully Billy can zoom in and get some good footage of this absolutely stunning spider. Now I believe it's called the rusty wandering spider, but I believe some of them are more of a tannish coloration, and others are like this one, are more of an orange coloration overall. Hopefully that's coming out. Just stunning spiders, and so fast. I love watching them hunt. The good thing is, obviously, that enclosure, it had outgrown it. I was shocked how much size it put on its last molt. I was getting ready to rehouse it and molt it again, and obviously now it's pushing about 2 inches, maybe even a little bit more. This one will give it some more room. Now, this is a fast-growing spider, so it's one that some people may want to skip the juvenile enclosure and put it in something larger right off the bat, because, again, they get 4 inches, and they are very active hunters. So it means, unlike some species of tarantulas, which is usually what we talk about on this channel, when they're in larger enclosures, they might not find the prey. These guys will actively hunt down the prey. So what I'm going to do here, Billy zooms out. Still trying to learn the new camera. It's been kind of quote-unquote fun. I'm going to twist this a little bit here. No, she's going to go out and explore. I'm in awe of watching her move. That's why I'm not saying anything. As she bolts and runs right out of it. No, I'm just kidding. So as far as slings, moist substrate, if you notice in that old enclosure, you don't have to back up and watch it. She's much more interesting. Plus, I'm dying to see her on that green. Oh, she's going to go under the cover. With slings, I give them about an inch of substrate or so I can keep it nice and moist. I put a little moss in there, a little branch to hide behind, a little fake leaves. Again, they grow quickly, so you're going to want to use, if you use a dram vial, something larger. You could probably get away with using a larger deli cup for them as well. Again, they grow fast. Then this one here, I believe, is about 5.5 quarts or 5.2 liters. I use these for a lot of my juvenile arboreals, and it gives plenty of room to be able to go around and actively hunt. Plus, we have kind of the arboreal setup. They do like to set up high, and then they'll come down and hunt and grab things from the bottom, almost kind of like huntsman spiders, which makes them totally cool to watch. Now, temperatures here, this is obviously a tropical species. However, my temperatures in the tarantula room or the spider room this winter have been around 73 to 75 degrees at the highest, and we've had an issue with the heat not being able to keep up on those super cold days. So we've had time periods where it drops down to 65. She has been totally fine with those temperatures. Now, would I keep this spider at 65 degrees all the time? No, but having it dip a little lower is fine. And again, because it's a true spider, they are fast growing. So keeping them at a little bit cooler temperatures will mean that your spider will most likely grow a little bit more slowly and live a little bit longer. And again, that's the one issue that folks sometimes run into when they switch from keeping tarantulas to true spiders. It's something that kept me away from true spiders for quite some time, is the fact that they don't live as long. We get spoiled with tarantulas living for many, many years. Now, as far as feeding is concerned, when she was a little teeny baby, she kind of skipped the fruit flies. I was dropping in little pinhead red runner roaches, where they be lateralis roaches, and she was chasing those. I keep saying she, it's wishful thinking, we'll see. But the spider was chasing those down, no problem. They will take down larger prey. Then as she got a little bit bigger, I went to larger B. lateralis roaches. The other day, I dropped in a medium cricket. She took that down with no problem. The bigger specimens will obviously take down full-grown crickets and roaches. They do have that good prey drive, so I would personally want to feed them something that's going to give them an ability to kind of hunt it down. Crickets are always moving, red runners are always moving. They seem to like that, and we like to watch them hunt. As far as an adult enclosure, again, because they get so big, 4.5 inches, and because they are active hunters, what I most likely put this one in is one of the Exoterra mini talls. Those are the ones that are 12 by 12 by about, I think, 16 or 18 inches high. That would give the spider a lot of room to be able to hunt. Again, they are fast-moving spiders that love to chase down prey, so give them that opportunity. If you put them in smaller enclosures, obviously they're still going to eat, they're still going to grow. But if you want to see some of that natural hunting behavior, the way to go would be to give them a larger enclosure so you can witness some of that. And as far as moisture levels, again, it's a tropical species, so you want to keep the substrate moist. You don't have to overdo it. I do not measure humidity inside my enclosures, but I know that if I keep the substrate adequately moist, as that water evaporates out of the substrate, it does keep the natural humidity inside the enclosure much higher than it is on the outside. So again, you don't have to overdo it. I usually like to, quote unquote, make it rain, pour some water in to let it soak down the bottom layers. The moss will be nice and moist, and I do have a little water dish I'll be dropping in here for her. So there we have it, Cupiennius getazi, rusty wandering spider. Absolutely amazing animals. For those who keep tarantulas, they're used to keeping the faster tarantula species, some of the faster arboreals. These guys shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just know slings are super quick, so that's why I have the butterfly enclosure to do the rehousings in, because they're tiny, they move quick, and they can get lost. But once they put on a little size, they're a little easier to keep track of. And as you can see with this beautiful, well, say young lady here, she's just kind of freezing and allowing us to get a bunch of beautiful pictures of her. So C. getazi, rusty wandering spider. Awesome spiders. Can't wait for the next rehouse when it's like 3 or 4 inches. That's going to be a fun one. Now again, these guys can be very, very fast, and particularly small slings can be particularly difficult to deal with because they move quickly and can get lost, so you want to take precautions. This is one of the species that I will use my large butterfly enclosure to rehouse them in when they're smaller, just so I can keep track of them. This one was a little bit bigger, so I figured if they did get out, we'd be able to find it. But they are awesome to watch. Amazing hunters. I'm used to tarantulas that a lot of them aren't as active. They are ambush predators. They'll sit there, they'll wait till the spider crosses their webbing and then leap at it. These these guys will actively hunt down their prey. Now this one here is doing great. I'm going to say she hopefully has already molted again and has just taken down a medium cricket, and I wish I had gotten on camera. Unfortunately I did not, but it was a sight to behold. So for anybody looking to move into the true spiders that have heard negative things about these guys, if you're used to working with the faster species and you recognize that they are very, very quick, you should do just fine. And they get quite large, which is another plus. I believe this species, as I mentioned in the video earlier, 4 to 4.5 inches. There are other species that can get up to 5 inches. They're big, beefy, beautiful spiders. So definitely something worth checking out for those who want to move a little bit beyond just keeping the tarantulas. So that will do it for this one. As always, if you liked it enough to subscribe, very much appreciate it. Click the little circle in here. If you want to check out some more videos, you can find them over in here. If you take the time to comment, I will take the time to respond. Just know it can take me a couple days because I tend to get a lot of them. That'll do it for this one, guys. As always, stay safe. We'll catch you all next time.